One of the first questions on deciding your post for an arbor is the post anchored in the ground or is it on a post anchor? If you look at the top of these, they can be very heavy, so they need lateral stability. By sinking the post into the ground, you get lateral stability. If you do not have that and you have a post anchor, then you need to create the lateral stability on top somehow by the way you overlap, notch, or brace the top rack, we call it. So talk to somebody in your area who understands the best way to do that. You're going to see both of those here, but we have engineers that have told us the best way for lateral stability is to drop our post into the ground. So that's the main thing you're going to be seeing throughout this video. And then secondly, it comes down to what size. And a lot of this, we use 6x6 minimum. We just find that that looks best when we wrap it, and we end up with about an 8 to 9 inch wide post that looks right with the beam sizes. We're going to cover on how to put in a post for an arbor or a trellis. First thing you see here are that these posts are pressure treated Douglas fir. The footing size was determined in advance, and then you see that they've braced this post and set it in the hole ready for inspection by the inspector to make sure that the hole size or footing size is large enough. This is right after they've poured the footing, after they got their approval. And again, the bracing, these are heavy posts, they're tall, and so the way this contractor has braced it keeps it secure and square until the concrete has set up and secured the post for them. What you're going to see next is a footing where we've done a post anchor. So there's two ways to do this. The benefit of this where the post goes directly into the footing is lateral stability. But this is the other way where you can use a post anchor. And Simpson makes these different connectors, and here you see a close-up. You can see the primed wood. It's got the holes in it, and then it's got the fasteners per the manufacturer's recommendations. So either way is acceptable. You just have to know if the overall design of the arbor can handle the lateral stability, if it's been compensated for in other ways when you use a post anchor, because they don't have as much inherent stability. This is now they've got the post in place, and they are forming the patio to build around the different posts that are in the patio area. So you see the subgrade has been set, and they've started to put in the forms around the patio area. So one of the things is we don't want any soil around these posts so that you get rot. Here they've poured the patio, and they're waiting for stone that goes in the bands. Here you can see that the bands and the stone has been wrapped around the post base, and the contractor has started to put his beams up. Now there's a grade at the bottom of the post set so that that can be, the post wraps can start to go on. Here you see that there's a channel in this beam for electrical conduit, and that's one of the nice things to get on before you start getting your wraps on. Here's a detail of that. So you've got a 1/2 inch conduit going up the post. See the bottom of that? And then here's your post cap. Depending on your design, these can be very complex or very simple, but they give you the connection to the post for your beams. And you can see that this contractor started to put the crown wrap over the top of the post. He's got his first step on there. So also he's painted that. Now the galvanized connector doesn't need paint, but he's primed it anyway. So the next step here is he started to wrap that. So he's got his entire upper wrap on there. Here you see where the conduit's coming up through the top of the wrap, and also this one's got his skins on. We call these the ones that run the length of the post skins or plantons. And there's another look at that. Now see here how they've used wood putty over the top of the nails or screws. So I recommend that, because when you paint this, if you really want a sharp finish, you need to do that. Otherwise you're looking at nail heads or screws. And there's a base detail before the second wrap goes on the base wrap. So we've got two wraps, one to build up the top, and he's cut that away to allow for the coupling. Here you go in a planting area. Now he's using screws down there at the bottom because he feels he gets a better connection on those chamfers. Here you see the second wrap's gone on the base of this thing, and you always want a little clearance. You don't want this setting on in water. And then here you are, they've added the skin for the full length of the post. That goes on after you've done the base detail and the crown detail. This contractor likes to use spruce. He says it holds real well and has less warpage and cracking than Douglas fir. And here's the post. And here we are at the finished product. Now this crown detail is a little different. That's not really the point. Here's the base detail, all caulked. All of the seams are caulked and painted. And that's going to last a long time. But the other thing to know is that you really want to keep these caulked and painted. The biggest flaw in arbors is that people don't look at the top and the paint gets broken down and starts cracking. Moisture gets into this wood and creates rot. So that's really the biggest thing. But if you're a contractor, you already know that. See here again at the base of that post how we've got a little clearance. These are just some slightly different stylings on the details for the base and the top. And also you can do a solid wrap to where there's no relief. We use a 1x. So what we're doing is we're building out a really beautiful wrap around the post that is structurally required and won't rot on us. And here's one where we've used masonry at the base and then another detail. And by the way, most of these posts that we're using are 6x6. You can use 4x4, but we don't like the weight of them when they're all wrapped up. They seem a little wimpy. So that's why you see us wrapping or putting skins on all of the posts. And that is how to build an arbor post.